The moment she saw him standing at her gate, something inside her stirred, something old, buried, and dangerously close to recognition, but she couldn't place it. And neither could he allow her to. Before we begin, take a second, because stories like this deserve to be felt, not just heard. If you believe in second chances, hidden sacrifices, and the kind of love that survives time and silence, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. You don't want to miss what happens next. The city never really slept, but for Amara Siddiqui, it hadn't rested in years. As one of the youngest CEOs in the country, she carried the weight of an empire on her shoulders. Her company had grown beyond expectations, but success came at a cost: long nights, constant pressure, and enemies she didn't even know she had. Still, none of that frightened her. What frightened her was the thought of losing her daughter. 6-year-old Alina was her world. Bright, curious, and full of laughter that could melt even Amara's hardened exterior. After her husband's passing 3 years ago, Alina had become her reason to keep going. Her reason to fight. So when the threats began, anonymous messages, suspicious cars lingering outside her home, and a break-in attempt that left her shaken, Amara didn't hesitate. She hired the best security team money could buy. And that's when he walked into her life again. His name, according to the file, was Rehan Malik. Former military, highly trained, quiet, disciplined, and with a record so clean it almost seemed too perfect. He didn't say much during the interview. Just answered her questions with short, precise responses. His eyes, however, told a different story. They were watchful, sharp, and carried something deeper. Something that made Amara feel oddly exposed, as if he could see parts of her she had long hidden. "You understand what's at stake?" she had asked firmly. "Yes," he replied. "Your daughter's safety comes first." There was no hesitation in his voice. No doubt, she hired him immediately. From the very first day, Rehan proved himself invaluable. He was always alert, always present, yet never intrusive. He followed Alina at a distance, ensuring she felt free, not guarded. Within days, the little girl grew fond of him. "Uncle Rehan, will you come to my school event?" she asked one evening, her eyes hopeful. He hesitated for a split second before nodding. "If your mother allows it." Amara watched the exchange quietly. There was something about the way Rehan softened around her daughter, something genuine. It made her trust him. Maybe more than she should have. But trust, she had learned, was dangerous. Weeks passed, and the threats seemed to fade. Life slowly returned to a fragile sense of normalcy. Amara found herself relying on Rehan, not just for protection, but for reassurance. His presence was grounding, steady in a world that constantly felt like it was slipping out of control. Yet there were moments when she would catch him staring at her, not inappropriately, but intensely. As if he was trying to remember something. Or perhaps trying to forget. One evening, as rain poured heavily against the windows, the power suddenly went out. The house plunged into darkness. Alina panicked. "Mama, I'm here, sweetheart," Amara said quickly, pulling her close. Before fear could escalate, a flashlight flickered on. Rehan stood in the doorway, calm and composed. "It's just a temporary outage," he assured them. "Backup generator will kick in soon." His voice carried a strange familiarity. And then it hit her. Not fully, not clearly, but like a distant echo. "Have we met before?" she asked suddenly, her eyes narrowing slightly. Rehan froze for just a fraction of a second. But it was enough. "No, ma'am," he replied calmly. "I don't think so." She studied him for a moment longer, then nodded. Maybe it was nothing, but it wasn't. Because that night, Rehan didn't sleep. He stood outside in the rain, memories crashing into him like waves he could no longer hold back. Years ago, before the uniform, before the discipline, before the silence, he had been broken. A wounded young man, left for dead after a violent incident that had nothing to do with war but everything to do with cruelty. And she had saved him. Amara. She wasn't a CEO back then. Just a determined young woman who refused to walk away when she found him bleeding on the roadside. She had taken him to the hospital, stayed by his side, paid for his treatment, and disappeared before he could even properly thank her. But he never forgot her face. Never forgot her voice. Never forgot the way she looked at him, not with pity, but with belief. That moment changed his life. It pushed him to rebuild himself, to join the military, to become someone stronger. And now he was standing in her house, protecting her daughter, while hiding the truth. Because he wasn't just there for the job. He was there because someone had been hired to destroy her. And he knew who. The threats weren't random, they were calculated. A rival from within her own business circle, someone she trusted, someone waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Rihan had intercepted information during his last assignment. When he saw her name, he didn't hesitate. He left everything behind and took this job, not just to protect her daughter, but to repay a debt he could never truly settle. But revealing his past would complicate everything. And time was running out. The attack came without warning. It was during Alina's school event. A place that was supposed to be safe. Crowds, noise, distraction, perfect conditions. Rihan noticed it first. A man moving against the flow, his focus too sharp, too deliberate. Amara, we need to leave. Now, he said urgently. What? Why? No time, just trust me. But before they could move, chaos erupted. A loud crash, screams, panic. The man lunged forward, and in that moment, everything slowed down. Rihan moved faster than thought. He pushed Amara and Alina aside, placing himself between them and the danger. The struggle was brief but violent. And when it ended, Rihan was on the ground. Blood spreading. Amara's world shattered. Rihan, stay with me, please. As she held him, her hands trembling, his eyes slowly met hers. And this time, he didn't hide. You saved me once, he whispered weakly. Her breath caught. What? Years ago, you didn't walk away. The memory slammed into her. The rain, the roadside, the wounded boy, you. Her voice broke. It was you. He smiled faintly. I couldn't let anything happen to you, or her. Tears streamed down her face as realization, guilt, and gratitude collided within her. You should have told me. And risk you sending me away. He murmured. I needed to stay. The ambulance sirens echoed in the distance. He survived. Barely. Weeks later, as he recovered, things were different. The truth had come out. The threat was eliminated. The danger had passed. But something else remained. A bond neither of them could ignore anymore. You stayed all this time, Amara said softly, sitting beside him. I told you, he replied with a faint smile. I don't walk away from people who matter. She looked at him, really looked this time. Not as a bodyguard, not as a stranger, but as someone whose life had been quietly intertwined with hers all along. Then don't, she said gently. And for the first time in years, she wasn't afraid anymore. Because sometimes, the people we save end up saving us in ways we never imagined. And sometimes, the strongest protection doesn't come from power or money, but from loyalty, gratitude, and a heart that never forgot. If this story touched you, don't forget to like the video, share it with someone who believes in destiny, and subscribe to the channel for more unforgettable stories.